Welcome once again to SoCo Chat, a podcast where we hear directly from county leaders, discuss the latest news, and talk about all things concerning our beautiful corner of California known as Sonoma County.
Welcome to SoCo Chat. I'm your host, Matt Brown, Deputy Communications Manager for the County of Sonoma. Thank you for joining us. Well, today we are honored to have back as our guest Supervisor Rebecca Hermosillo, this year's Chair of the Board of Supervisors. She represents the 1st District, which spans from East Santa Rosa through the Sonoma Valley. After a 12-year career working for Congressman Mike Thompson, she was elected supervisor in November 2024, becoming the first Latina to serve on the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors. Now that she's had a year of experience and was recently elected chair by her colleagues on the board, we're looking forward to hearing about her priorities for the coming year. So with that, let's get on to our discussion. Supervisor Hermosillo, welcome back to SoCo Chat.
It's great to be back. Thanks for welcoming me.
Yeah, of course. Well, as we said in the intro, you've now had a year under your belt on the board. What were some of the biggest surprises and the most important lessons learned that you've had on your first year on the board?
You know, some of the most important lessons are really like how interconnected issues for constituents are. The biggest example, the most pressing need, at least in the valley that I had, was homelessness, and then the lack of resources and mental health resources, and then housing stability and food insecurity. And so a lot of interconnected issues for constituents.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I want to go into some of those issues more in depth as well as we get into it. But I want to ask you a little bit about being the chair. Now that you're the chair, you hold the gavel. You're more of the public face of the Board of Supervisors. What's the biggest change that's come with being the chair of the board?
The biggest change is making sure that I am chairing in my voice. Every chair does things a little bit differently and kind of in their own tone. And learning to share my voice with community and with my colleagues, and you're basically driving the ship, and so driving it in the way that resonates with my style.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't have any separate powers other than running the meetings and setting the agenda, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and hopefully you could see the levity and the bantering. We do really good, important work on the dais, but I also believe it's important to have levity and enjoy the work that we're doing on behalf of the county.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk a bit about some of those priorities that we talked about earlier. Last month, the board met in your district in the Sonoma Veterans Building to set the agenda for the coming year. That's the annual agenda setting meeting. So what were your top priorities that you put down there for this coming year?
Yeah, there was a lot. A lot of it had to do with essential services, maintaining essential services, in creating pathways for catastrophic road repairs. That's not something that we have prioritized. There's community needs that we heard loud and clear, not just in my district, but in other districts, about noise ordinances and how do we prioritize that work, and mobile home eviction, mobile home protections, and again, how do we prioritize that work with a very tight budget that is coming down the pipes this year and next year. And so how do we, as a county, establish our goals and our missions that uplift our community, but also are fiscally responsible? So a lot of competing needs.
Yeah, a lot of competing needs for sure. A lot of big priorities on that agenda, as you mentioned, and a lot of budget constraints, as you mentioned. So I want to get into that. As you know, the budget workshops are coming up April 20th, that's when they start. This is the chance for department heads to come and present their budget for the coming year, for you as the board to hear from departments before the budget is actually adopted in June. So these budget workshops in April are very important. Gives you sort of a preview of what to look forward to or what's coming down the pipe. And this year we know that there's a lot of uncertainty around federal funding especially. So what are you anticipating for this year's budget hearings?
We're going to have to make some difficult decisions this year, and even more so next year. If if you listen to the Board of Supervisors meeting where we had a conversation kicking off CMSP and the deficit, right? We are on the hook for $233 million if there's no changes from the feds or the state.
This is county medical services providing.
Yes, and that's just one program. And I can assure the community that we don't have $233 million in reserves. So we're going to have to make some serious choices on how we provide essential services to constituents, how we are showing fiscal responsibility, and how we also uplift our community strategically. And so it's going to take a lot of advocacy with our federal partners, our state partners, like California State Association of Counties. Next week, there's going to be probably a $2 billion ask of the state to make sure that counties remain whole so that we don't have to make even more challenging decisions.
Yeah, I know that's going to be tough. What do you want the community to know about the budget choices that you're going to have to make?
That we're going to work with my colleagues on the dais to make the most strategic choices that we can to ensure that we are still meeting the basic human needs of constituents. And if someone needs medical care, that we're able to help support them even in emergencies, at least for a short period of time to get them the care they need. And so we more to come in the budget workshops.
Yeah, great. Well, you mentioned another priority, roads. As you know, the roads network in the county is very vast and also vulnerable to natural disasters. You've seen that firsthand in your district with Cavedale Road, a road that was that had some road repairs during a storm. These days, the funding from FEMA is less reliable. So what should the county do to shore up the road network?
You know, the county, for its size, invests the most in infrastructure than other similar-sized counties. When people compare our roads to the roads, let's say in Napa, they're like, Napa's roads are great, which is, I'm very jealous of Napa's roads. They're wonderful. They have 450 miles of unincorporated roads in Napa County, and we have almost 1,400 miles, and that's basically from the Oregon border down to Mexico 1.5 times. And so we do not have enough money to maintain our aging infrastructure, let alone just on roads. The county, like I said, has made significant investments in the last handful of years before my term to allocate more funding for road repairs, which is great. We also need to do something similar to ensure that we are addressing catastrophic road repairs with climate change and disasters. They take a toll on our infrastructure, and making sure that we don't have to find $7 to $10 million every time there's a catastrophic road repair is what we need to move away from and be more mindful in creating reserves so that they're available if we need them.
Yeah, big project, a lot of money needed, and a lot more to come on that, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Well, another infrastructure project that I wanted to discuss, this is the County Government Center. As we're sitting here today, this is a very aging county complex, and we know that the county is moving forward with replacing it basically right here where we sit, or just a little bit outside these walls, where we're going to build a brand new county government center. Tell us a little bit about this project.
You know, I think it would be one of those pivotal moments in someone's tenure to be able to move forward. This is a conversation that's been had for several years before I took office, and it's needed. It will be where community can come and do business with the county. It is where our county colleagues, employees can enjoy coming to work. There's studies that show it increases morale, productivity, less burnout, less stress, and county employees deserve that. And we need to have a campus that attracts community, and it shouldn't just be the county campus. I envision more ancillary services, you know, where you could walk and get food at the corner, or there's mixed use development. And just, I think it's the beginning of a beautiful campus project.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to have almost all departments located in one building, essentially, a 5-story building with all the employees here, great public spaces for the
Yes.
public to come and enjoy, right?
Yes, absolutely. And hopefully we won't have little critters living with us and working with us. That's a win too.
It will be hopefully more modern and
Yes.
have less problems, less deferred maintenance, as they say, more
Absolutely.
politically. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And more climate friendly too.
Yeah, absolutely. Will be great energy savings, great meeting our climate goals as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a great project. I think it's moving forward, as I understand, right?
We're going to have more conversations, I imagine, with my colleagues on the board. So more to come. We have to decide what to do and how we build in phases and make sure that county employees have office space to go to while construction's happening.
Absolutely. That's great. I want to pivot a little bit and talk about something else that you've been working on over the past year. Yourself and your colleague, Supervisor Linda Hopkins, have been working on an ad hoc committee supporting immigrant communities. You've also been working on these issues regionally as part of a Bay Area collaborative of colleagues. Tell us about this work you've been doing and why it's so important, especially given the fear that many in the immigrant community face in these times.
Yeah, it's important, of course, because of the current administration and the attacks on our most vulnerable populations, which is why I asked to form this ad hoc so that Supervisor Hopkins and I can work together to create safety nets for if and when ICE comes to community, how we can stabilize families. That will take some resources. We've done a lot of really good work in the handful of months that we formed. We have bolstered our training. We have allocated funding to a nonprofit to make sure that we are addressing some of the immediate gaps. We are working on an ordinance that we anticipate bringing forward in April to have a conversation with our colleagues. We've met with service providers to identify the gaps and see how we can support. We're also part of the Belonging in the Bay network, which is a Bay Area response to ICE if they come to one of our counties, and how we collaborate. And that means rapid response networks are involved. That means county councils are involved. That means supervisors are involved, and kind of the messaging that folks belong here and that counties are standing behind them. And so how do we support them in community? And it's a lot of work that is getting done and still needs to be done.
Yeah, that's important work. And
Thank you. Yeah.
I know you're very proud of that work, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about another key issue that you mentioned earlier on, mental health. That's an issue that's includes substance use, homelessness, a shortage of services here in Sonoma County. What's the county doing to address these issues, and what should it be doing more of?
Yeah, we're in a really good place. We have a new Director Nolan Sullivan. He's a really good thought partner. He's very collaborative.
Health Services Director.
Health Services, yes, thank you. He is very collaborative. He brings people to the table. He brings a wealth of experience and knowledge and ability to identify gaps in services to fill those gaps. One of those is in my district in Sonoma Valley. There's going to be a combined behavioral health wing. We'll call it a wing. There's 8 to 10 folks that are going to be able to help our most acute constituents that need help with mental health, that are unhoused, and get them the services that they need in the community that they live in.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of funding coming in through Measure O and projects you're able to do there.
Yes, Measure O. We did the last of the allocation just recently. In the Measure O funding, there was 3 times as many financial asks than we had funds available. We know that with the limited resources that we had, we are making sure they're going to the right folks to target the constituents that need the most help.
Yeah.
The need is always going to be much bigger, but I think we've done a really good investment.
So one of the most important decisions that your board makes is hiring good leadership. I know that you recently hired David Guin, the current city manager of Sonoma, to take over as the new county executive when Christina Rivera retires next month. Tell me a little bit about why you hired David and what kind of a leader he'll be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, let's acknowledge the decades worth of service that Cristina has done for our county, for our community. She is a wealth of knowledge. Just her ability to say, in September 1987, we had an agenda item, and just the detail in her memory and the knowledge that she shares is vital. I know that my colleagues and I made a really good, we had great candidates. We made a great selection. I've personally had the privilege of working with David, not only when he was with the city of Santa Rosa, also with Grayton, and most recently he's been with the city of Sonoma. He's been a thought partner. He identified an issue in my district quickly. We collaborated. We found a solution. We stabilized low-income housing for seniors literally in 3 days. And it was by working collaboratively and swiftly. And that's something that he can do on a dime. Just his skill set is great. He knows a lot of the right players and programs and services. I think he's going to be a really good asset for the county.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to welcoming on board in the middle of next month.
April 20th.
That's right. Yeah. Right during budget hearings, too. So
welcome to the team. Jump into the deep end of the pool.
Trial by fire for sure. Well, Supervisor Hermosillo, the last time you were here on SoCo Chat, you said that you probably wouldn't be able to relax until your second year on the board. I'm wondering, did that turn out to be true? Did you not relax at all? And now that you're in your second year, are you able to relax and unwind? And if so, what do you like to do to relax?
I surprisingly last weekend had the first 2-day off in a row weekend. And so I did a lot of deferred yard work to get my backyard ready for summer. For if there is another day off soon, I can sit out there and not have to worry about mowing the lawn or planting things. So I was able to decompress in the garden.
Are you a gardener?
Thanks. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that must be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Supervisor Hermosillo, so much for coming back here on SoCo Chat and joining us today. And we know you already have a coffee mug from your last visit, but we'd love to offer you another SoCo Chat item, a water bottle or a pen or a hat or anything like that for being on our guest.
I feel like I need a set for my Tuesday's Mexican coffee. I need a SoCo coffee mug set.
We can certainly provide another coffee mug if you'd like.
Great.
We can absolutely do that. So
thank you.
We would be happy to. And to our listeners, if you have comments about this episode or a suggestion for a future SoCo Chat discussion, please email us at publicaffairs@sonomacounty.gov. Thank you all, and we hope you continue to follow SoCo Chat on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and of course, YouTube. We'll see you next time. Thanks again, Chair Hermosillo.